So I'm at Sugarland Houston Art Gallery, and I'm about to go into Lauren Haley's studio so that we can do our interview.
Hey Viviana, come on in.
How are you?
Very good, thanks. I'm so excited you're here.
Yeah.
Well, let's go sit down.
Any fun memories of your early years of violin training?
Yes, oh my goodness. So my favorite thing is that my family worked really hard to make sure everything I did on the violin was fun so that I would want to practice. For me, it was not just about like practicing your notes and all of that, but having a really good time, building closeness and creating a lot of memories that I carry with me now.
That's great. When you started college applications, did you have a specific conservatory or college in mind?
Yeah, for me it was always Eastman. I absolutely had to go to Eastman, and I had been there the year previously to visit.
Okay.
Aside from Eastman, my plan was to not major in music.
Yeah.
I was going to be a journalist, and I was accepted to NYU, but as soon as I got that Eastman letter, it was all over.
Is there any advice you would give to young musicians like me who are considering a musical career?
I think the most important thing is to remember that sometimes work is fun and other times work is work. And that's even true of violin or any musical instrument. And the key is to go into music expecting that there are going to be days where you feel like, I'm not even on speaking terms with my instrument right now. And you want to be okay with that being your work. On the other hand, if you pursue other fields, sometimes it really does feel like music won't have to be that same level of work, that it can be your escape. And so the key is balancing those two ideas.
In her book, Kids Aren't Lazy, Lauren Haley has an entire chapter dedicated to preparing for competitions and auditions. And I was really excited to ask her about what her advice was for preparing for competitions and auditions, because recently I had a few performances where I was playing, all of a sudden my brain would be like, you need to think positively, because I had all these negative thoughts. And then my brain would be like, no, the whole thing is negative, so just stop thinking positive. It's not going to do anything. And meanwhile, my fingers were just kind of doing their thing. So that was really scary in a way. So I can't wait to see what her advice will be. So what are some things you encourage students to do in order to prepare physically for a competition or audition?
So, you know, it's funny, so much of our physical preparation and how we feel is based on where we are mentally. And so, you know, I think the big thing we're really concerned about is accuracy when we're playing. We want to play in tune, and when our hands are shaking, it's really hard to do that.
Yes.
Same for our tone quality. So, I really encourage students in the last 24 hours before our competition to only play slowly and to play in tiny little chunks, you know, reaffirming our accuracy for specific jumps and whatnot, instead of, you know, we're often given this advice of like, oh, play your piece all the way through 5 times from the top at full speed and imagine that you're at the competition. And I think that advice is really damaging because when we do that, we're practicing being somewhere else. So then, of course, when we walk on stage, what if we practiced? Not how to focus on our specific finger movements, but being somewhere else. And so we're on stage and we're like looking around and our fingers are all over the place. So I think that's the most important part of physical preparation, is understanding how to practice. And other than that, I think make sure that you've thought ahead to competition day what will make you comfortable. You know, I like to always have hand warmers and a bottle of water. Remember to eat and have protein. You know, if your competition is early in the morning, practice getting up and playing violin early every morning leading up to the competition so that you're not a zombie. All of these things help us to be in the mental state where we can just breathe and walk on stage.
So what are some things you encourage students to do in order to prepare mentally for a competition or audition?
Right. I think the most important thing is to realize how much our language shapes how we're going to feel on stage. If we tell ourselves, I won't be nervous, I won't be nervous, I won't be nervous, of course, our focus is on being nervous. I love to have my students write down affirmations on cards before they play. And it's funny, the first week that they have them, students are like, what is this? I will play well. I'm not going to play well. This sounds so arrogant. You know, they feel like they're talking about someone other than themselves. But as the weeks go on, as students read these affirmations, they really start to take that on as part of their identity. And it's immensely calming, I think. So I think also we want to remember that one of our strongest tools as violinists is that our ears are always a step ahead of our fingers in terms of playing. This is what makes us better. The fact that our ears are critical, that we can hear every single mistake and we can decide, I want to make myself better by fixing this mistake, is what makes us so good. It makes us capable of growth. And so we want to make sure that we harness that ability and speak about it positively instead of saying to ourselves, well, I should never have any problems with my playing. I should walk away from every practice session thinking there was nothing that could be improved, because we wouldn't want that. We wouldn't be going anywhere.
Do you have any techniques you use to combat nerves or negative thoughts during a performance?
Yes, we have a favorite expression in my studio. It's called moves, not grooves. And the idea is that during a performance, we really try to focus on moves, exactly what we need to remember with our fingers, as opposed to our grooves, which is how we're feeling. Now, of course, this is easier said than done.
Yes.
Right? And so when you think about it, when we do each of these competitions, we're really practicing for the next competition. And so remember that, you know, when you get up on that stage, you're practicing remembering your B flat and measure 249, you know? And because practicing the ability to call your focus like that is absolutely crucial. It's a skill and we're building it. And so as time goes by, you know, you want to think to yourself with every competition, moves not grooves, and think, here are the specific technical things I'm going to think of at each particular bar. These things can kind of draw us back into our playing mode, as opposed to, well, you know how easy it is to, you know, look out into the audience, feel your heart race, and just, you know,
What inspired you to write this book?
Well, when I was first teaching, I had a student named Maria, not her real name. And every week, Maria and her father would come to lessons, and Maria's father would repeat, I know Maria is smart. I know she could be talented. The problem is just that Maria is lazy. I looked at him like, Maria is 6. And so we have an opportunity to build some really great skills here. And that really evolved into the book. All of these strategies for developing your soft skills, which is, you know, your routines, your motivation, really strong habits, as well as your technical skills on the instrument.